Hopefully, it's not too much of a strain on the connection.
It's all right. I've got my screen open on my computer so I can,
Oh, good.
I don't know, if I
All
can
right. Well, we are
bring up my
live.
Visual Basic.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Let's see here. Let me show you what I got here, and you can sheet one. Wonder how I reversed the camera.
Mm, I don't know if it has
So I
that
can see.
option on Google
Yeah,
Hangouts.
when I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me. Can you see that any good?
Not really. No.
Not really.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Oh, what's this little button? There we go.
Did you find
Oh,
it?
that's just clicking on me. No, give me some functions here. You are presenting to everyone. Okay,
Oh,
now.
yeah. I made you the presenter so that it would uh,
Okay.
show it, but I took you off since it's not, unless you can.
Huh. No, like I said, all I can do is I can't do a screenshot, but like I said,
Yeah.
I started out. Let me just talk you through what I did.
Okay.
I got, I did my question, and the question box is message box. Are you sure you want to automatically format this report?
Mm-hmm.
Those are in quotes, comma, VB yes or no, comma, format report for the title.
Okay.
And then if the question box equals VB yes, then I put uh,
Is that where you put your macro that you recorded?
yeah, then I have format macro, which then I went through and recorded a macro of formatting it.
Okay.
So, and then I ended that. And also it asked you to put in the month, right? And when you say yes, it says enter the month.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I did that just before my format macro.
Okay.
So the input box, what is the current month? And then they enter the month under rating. And then I formatted. I found that if I tried to put January in before I formatted, it erases it. So I put the little Visual Basic thing after I formatted and entered it into that box. So after my format, da 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 da, then I said range of B3, put rating. So that was where my heading for the January, February, March was.
Okay.
So I found that worked better, or else you'd have to try to save it somehow.
Okay.
And then after it entered that, then there's a format box message, which is report has been successfully formatted, VB OK only,
Okay.
and congratulations at the top. So that's the message box that comes up, says you're all formatted and looks good.
Right.
So it goes through
Okay.
that, and that works fine.
That's the first step.
Then I have else after that. That was my if statement.
Mm-hmm.
And then I say range, and I had named that input cell for my button. I
Uh-huh.
named that format report, so it would just refer to it.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
I said range format report in quotation marks equals false.
Mm-hmm.
So that goes in and changes that to false and takes off the check mark.
Okay.
And then after that, I say I have a little macro that unformats it.
Okay.
And after that, it has the message box that says this report formatting has been removed.
Okay.
And you have to say okay. And that's where I'm at. But like I said, the problem I have is
Yeah.
in order to unformat,
It asks you
it
this
asks you, do you
the
want to
first
format
message
still?
box.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I have to say no, and then it unformats it. So that's where I'm hung up. But it works that way, but
yeah.
I'm sure it's not right.
Well, I don't know how you'd get around that.
Bring up your little button. Right click on your button, and it goes. Where you attach the link,
right,
or macro. There's a section in there that's, if you go to flip through the menus at the top, there's one that says checked and you attach the link to it while it's checked or when it's unchecked. And I didn't understand if you could change that. If one macro would run when it was checked and one macro would run when it's unchecked by using that box somehow.
I wonder. Because there's
that was the only
checked and there's mixed.
Yeah. So I couldn't figure out how to make that work. I tried Googling something to say, how do you use this? And I wasn't able to find any YouTubes or Googles to tell me how to use that box, And that seems to be the key to me of how to make this work, is when you check it, it does this. And when you uncheck it, it does this macro,
Right. It runs a different macro. Yeah.
Or maybe you have to have that in a certain position when you attach the macro to it. So
maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I can't. I don't think that there's any way around that. I don't know.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to hand mine in how it is and take what I get. But
yeah,
I'd like to get a 20, but
right.
I get home about noon on Saturday, so I've got a few hours there still to play with once I get back. Ooh, there's Tucker.
Hey, David.
Hey, Tucker.
Hey. I'm out in the middle of Moab Desert, sitting in.
In other words, he's got really bad reception.
Yes.
Yeah. It's okay.
All right.
So have you worked on this, Tucker, at all?
I haven't even completed the assignment to get to the project.
Okay.
Okay. You're no help then.
Slacking.
Well, let's ask you this question. Are you used to the check boxes?
Am I used to the check boxes?
Yeah, like
how to run those. When you make a checkbox, and then you link it to a cell, for the true false thing. There's a section up in the menus on the right click when you're formatting that checkbox that says, and maybe Justin can tell you what he sees because I can't see.
Yeah, so basically, if you go to your developer tab and you insert a checkbox, and then you can assign a macro to that. But what we're trying to figure out is if you can assign more than one macro to one checkbox.
I don't think so.
I don't think you can either. Because the problem we're running into is basically in this mini project, we want a checkbox that says formatted report. When you check it, it pulls up a message box. The message box says, are you sure you want to do this? And you can either hit yes or no. But what we want is when you uncheck it, right now, when you uncheck it, it runs the same macro, which brings up the message box again. But what we want is for that message box to not pull up.
Yeah.
And we want it to just go ahead and unformat the report. But we can't figure out how to uncheck the box and not have the message box that says, do you want to format? Gotta be.
Is that something we're using stuff that we learned in assignment 30?
Yeah, if you haven't watched the assignment, that's going to be pretty much gibberish to you.
Yeah, I haven't done the assignment. I've been
that's why I was.
It's been a crazy 2 weeks.
That's why I was asking.
Me too.
So I'm like, I'm like doing everything I can just to finish the semester.
Yeah, I feel you. That's
So my mind is like fried like 24/7.
Yeah. Well, I think for the purposes of this video, I don't know if we're going to be able to really discuss a whole lot without all of us knowing about input boxes and message boxes. But really, there's if I'll probably what I'll do is I'll go ahead and just summarize the mini project, and then we're going to have to kind of play with Visual Basic until we figure it out.
Yeah.
So is it something that you have to recode in Visual Basic?
Yeah. So we're not. Yeah. Instead of recording, we're actually going into Visual Basic and writing codes for a message box. We're doing codes for an input box, meaning a box will pop up that you can write something in. And then we're also doing conditional statements, which are actually not bad. I think they're easier even than writing if statements as functions. But yeah, I would. Yeah, without watching that video, I'd be pretty confused.
I've done some of that before. Not all of that. I mean, I've worked in Visual Basic.
Okay.
Some and coded some, but basically only almost copying and pasting from stuff that I found on the internet.
Right.
Like to do what I wanted to do, like automatically printing reports or sending basically saving a spread, one of the sheets in the workbook to a PDF and emailing that to somebody.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But anyway, so
my my recommendation is when you go through the tutorial, you know how when they make you make this sheet up and it teaches you how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Refer back to those formulas you built there to build this, because it's the same thing.
That's what I'm doing. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once you build them in that little tutorial, use the same formulas. Like I said, the only hang up I have is when you go to unformat what you did, it's supposed to happen by just unchecking the check box. Make that work, so without going back through the loop of asking you, do you want to format this? And you have to say no, and then it unformats it. So
okay, so this may or may not help. Okay, so I did learn something on the last mini project.
Mm-hmm.
So I created a macro to run Solver. You remember Solver?
Yeah, I don't know if Solver's.
So no. So my point here. So in the last, I think it was mini project like 17, like where you had to. We created a sheet and then we ran Solver on the different sheet and it pulled in the correct data. And then we may have changed like the acreage for the farm. And then we had to go to the other sheet and run Solver again and then go back to the other sheet. Do you remember that?
Not really.
Okay. Anyways, so
I do. I'm not sure it's the same thing, but.
So I built a macro to run Solver, but it wouldn't work. And the reasoning was that I didn't have something checked inside of Visual Basic. And I'm trying to find tools. So hold on, let me open that file real quick because there was something that I had to check in Visual Basic for it to work. And so I'm wondering if that may be a similar case here to where maybe something's not checked in Visual Basic, and so it's throwing it off. Does that make sense?
I'm not following totally, but
yeah. I mean, just the issue is there's not really a way for us to get around when we click on that checkbox. We want that message box to come up. I mean,
yeah. Well, you guys, how far have you got through this, Justin? Have you got to that point where you've been able to make it work yet?
No, I still need to record my macros for formatting and unformatting.
Formatting, okay, so you've got it at least doing the input box and the
Yep, yeah, I've got
box.
I've got it coming. Yeah, when I click the checkbox, it'll pull up the little message box that says, "Are you sure you want to automatically format this report?"
And then you say yes. Will it say input January?
No, not yet. That's about as far as
haven't got to that point yet.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah.
But if I
An
click
input
no,
box next.
it doesn't do anything.
Well, not yet. So.
But also, if I click yes, it doesn't do
Okay.
anything.
So the other way around this is, have you all scored really well on all of your other mini projects?
Right.
Well, yeah, I could hand mine in right now, and I'd probably lose a few points because it's got a couple extra steps. It does what it says it's supposed to do, but there's a couple extra.
I think you're doing pretty good, David. I'm gonna watch the video again because they give us a little bit of a hint of what it should look like.
Yeah.
They don't show us the Visual Basic, unfortunately. But
yeah, I went by that too. I kind of copied what he did. So.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's about as far as we can get for now.
Okay. All right. Well.
All right, guys. Well,
I'll be back. I'll be back Saturday afternoon. But.
All right.
But I'm going to leave mine as is unless I can figure something else out later.
Yeah, if I figure something out, I'll shoot you an email.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch up on it tonight. So if I see something, I'll reply via email as well.
You just don't send the code, or you get fail here. Remember?
No, I'll send the code.
Yeah, I won't send the code. Just some explanation of what to do.
Explanation.
I'll send some screenshots.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, that work. Yeah.
That's the same as this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can't copy a screenshot.
That's right.
No.
Cool. All right, guys.
Okay.
Well, see you.
All right.
Whenever we see you.
I guess we don't have another.
And, yeah. It's been great.
It's been fun.
For sure. We should do